Hello, lovelies. Welcome back to the dollhouse. I am Kira, your yarn host. Thank you for joining me. Just have some whips, some updates. I've had a lot of questions, so I'm going to try to answer some of them. Sweater progress. Sweater progress. Apparently, I don't pay a whole lot of attention when I'm supposed to pay attention because I keep screwing things up. But this is for me, so it doesn't really matter. Sweater. Sweater. I'm not done yet. I have to get the trim. But I have sweater. I don't have the ends. All of the ends weaved in. I tried to weave in as I went. But I have sleeves. And everything's even. I just have to get the trim done. And figure out if I want to put buttons on it. Because a cardigan should have buttons. And pockets. I gotta see how much yarn I have left. But I definitely have enough to finish. And I think it came out pretty nice. The lighting in here does not do the color justice because it kind of looks gray. But it's a very muted lavender with different color purpley specks. This is Loops and Threads from Michaels. If you have not watched previously, this is Loops and Threads Impeccable Speckle in the color Purple Bark. 160 yards, 3 ounces. And I like this color enough, I bought a pro pack from Michaels. So I got 18 skeins. And between me messing things up and me overcompensating because my brain does not adjust to what size I actually wear, I make the biggest one I can because I like things that are not restrictive. I like flowy clothes. So I probably could have got away with a 2X. But to be safe, I made a 4. Also, I don't know whether it's my ADHD or whether it's just a crochet thing, but I can't just have one project going at once because you get tired of doing the same thing sometimes over and over and over, and you need a break. So I went a little crazy and I busted out the knit loom and I found the perfect hat yarn. Perfect hat yarn. This is Sweet Roll Bold from Premier. It is a super bulky. It's a number 6. And I'm not used to working with super bulky. I was used to working with number 5 and the hat loom. Oh, number 6 is so much better. This is the color Blue Raspberry. And it is 109 yards. And this one has a menu knot right in the front. I hate this. I hate manufacturer knots. But as far as I understand it, manufacturers are allowed 3 knots per skein. I like manufacturers that get under that goal. But when the Premier Sweet Roll Bold came out, I started this whole crochet relearning thing with Premier Sweet Rolls. That was my go-to. That was just because there was not self-striping yarn when I started to crochet. 25 years ago. So I started off with sweet rolls. They came out with the bold, and this just knocked my socks off. Ooh, I should make matching socks. Basic loom knit hat is very nice though, because with the thicker, super bulky yarn, there's no gaps. There's no gaps. I also got cotton candy in the Premier Roll Bold. I think these came out great. I'm gonna make a crap ton of these. I've been trying to figure out for 2 years now the ripple stitch. There are a bajillion different ways to ripple stitch, and I did not realize this. So I've been going through tutorials and going through patterns. It's hard to hear with this on. This is probably incredibly warm outside. I've been going through so much stuff. So many tutorials. Patterns. I can kind of read patterns now. I write my own kind of shorthand, to scribble patterns down. Hobie gave me a ripple stitch that I seem to be able to do. Now, I did get the Hobie Universe Halloween limited edition yarn just for this project, but I didn't want to mess that up because Hobie yarn is not cheap yarn. I don't know if it's worth it because I haven't made anything yet, but it's very smushy and very marshmallowy, so I would say it is, and I got it on sale. So, but I use Temu yarn because if I mess up and I have to frog it and I have to do it over and I have to frog it and I have to do it over and I have to frog it, and some yarns aren't real keen on that. So I use Temu yarn because if I mess up Temu yarn, it didn't cost me a whole lot. It's not that big of a deal. So I had gotten, I thought this was just orange and yellow. I had gotten this just to do like little candy corn mushrooms or something. But it's actually got pink and gold and yellow and orange in it. So I am still not fully done. I have this much left on one skein, but it's very thin. It's, I think the label says it's a 3, but nothing on the label is really in English. So I'm guessing because there's a big 3 in a circle that it's a 3, and it says it's a 50-gram ball plus or minus 2 grams. But I don't know much else about it. I am guessing that it's a milk cotton because it feels just like the milk cotton ones that say they are milk cotton. But it's Temu yarn, so if I mess up, I'm okay. And it's not bad. It's squishy. It's soft. It's almost like a teeny tiny chenille feeling to it, but it is plied yarn. Because every once in a while you'll find a splitty patch. But it's nice. I mean, for cheap yarn, I could have gotten much worse. So I have so far worked it up to a ripple stitch. This is going to be a light scarf. You can see the colors better once you fold it, so it doesn't have, you know, the little holes in it. Not my color palette per se. Pink is really not my thing. I mean, if you haven't noticed, pink is not my thing. But I like how this is coming out. And this might end up in somebody's Christmas pile because it's really soft and it's squishy. It's squishy. I love squishy yarn. But I figured since I used the skein and made the start of a squishy ripple scarf, I might as well finish a squishy ripple scarf, and then I will be really good at it for when I use yarn that's rather expensive. And the Hobie yarn has the little sparkly, tinsely thing strand. And I have never successfully frogged a project that has that. My brain is farting. I can't come up with words. That has that metallic strand in it when it's the flat ribbon style metallic. Even though it's very thin, it still seems to like to grab onto yarn when you frog it. So I'm trying not to mess something up and have to frog with Hobie yarn. Also, in case you ever have medical issues, I get a weekly delivery of my TPN nutrition along with flush lines and things for my pick. And everything comes in these big old Ziploc bags. I get, you know, a bunch of saline syringes in one of these, and I get a bunch of heparin syringes in one of these, and I get batteries, and I get... So I have been saving these bags. These make awesome project bags. Awesome project bags. I am a little fluish. I have to apologize. I am a little stuffy, and it's coming and going. I am on massive amounts of vitamins and Dayquil. So if I go a little nasally or have to sneeze at you, I apologize in advance. Nicotine. So I did order other yarn from Temu that I was going to show you because I was all excited because they have yarn that looks a whole lot like Hobie's Lollipop. It's self-striping in small skeins like this. But if you look on the Temu website, I understand that everything can't be translated perfectly, but they seem to call everything wool. Everything yarn is wool. It's milk cotton wool, it's acrylic wool, it's... So I no longer pay attention to the word wool on Temu because that does not mean wool, that means yarn. About wool yarn. I'm allergic to wool. So that's already boxed up. That's getting shipped out to my friend in PA because wool makes me itchy. And it's beautiful. It's green and purple and cream and a little bit of pink mixed in there. And it's wool. Can't use it. Would have made a really nice ripple scarf. Can't use it. It's wool. So, you know, what are you going to do? They said it was wool. I should have believed them that time, I guess. I don't know. But it'll get used. It's getting sent to a good home. I don't have a whole lot of other progress made this week. It's been a rough week. This whole flu thing is kicking my butt more than I'd like it to, but I can smell and I can taste and I don't have a fever, so that's a good sign. A lot of people have asked me about medical things because I bring up medical things because I live in medical things. I don't want to get into that on here you can always send me a message on Twitter. I'll be happy to talk about it, but that's a downer. I'll talk about it every once in a while when it's bothering me, but meh. Trying to think. My brain is just, I decided to do a video, my brain just went, boom, nothing. Did a little straightening up yesterday. I'm trying to get my yarn hoard in order. I sorted through some things. I stocked some boxes for the charity pickup. And I've got some stuff to send to PA. I am thinking about ordering some pony beads so I can use the unplied yarn, because it's easier to use unplied yarn if you thread your working yarn through a bead first, but it has to be a bead with a large enough hole. You don't want the bead stuck on the yarn, and you don't want that to impede your progress. You just want to have something to keep it together, so you don't misapply while you're working. So I'm looking at different beads to order, because you can't just buy a bead. And I have friends that are into jewelry making, so if I order, 99 cents worth of beads from Temu, I can pick out a handful that I like and I can send the rest to somebody else. I'm picking out the errors in my ripple pattern, but thankfully it's variegated, so unless you're actually looking specifically at the stitches, you can't tell, which is always a good use of variegated yarn. If you're doing a stitch you're really not comfortable with, variegated yarn covers lots of things. If you're doing a really fancy stitch that you want the stitch to stand out, you want to do that in a solid color. So the color is there, but the emphasis is on the stitch. Whereas if you have variegated, you're not looking at the stitch. You kind of are. You kind of see the pattern that it's moving in, but you see the colors before you see the stitch itself. So variegated covers up oodles of errors. I find that helpful, because I don't know about you, but I mess things up now and then. If it comes out perfect, apparently I did not make it. I think that's what the universe is trying to tell me. So I don't care if it comes out perfect. Whatever. If it comes out good enough, that's good enough. I try to make them perfect, but nature doesn't like perfection, and apparently neither does my brain. I'm just trying to figure out now that once I get this scarf done, since it's done in double stitch, I should be able to do a single stitch border on it, and it should really look nice. I'm not sure if I'm going to border it though. I might just leave it as is, because the borders are actually really straight for a project that I'm doing. Usually I end up with some kind of rhombus one way or the other, but I seem to be getting better at keeping my borders straight. When I'm making things for other people, I seem to pay more attention than if I'm just trying to figure something out or just goofing around for myself, because it's for me. I don't need it to be perfect. I'm still trying to figure out if I want to do solid purple, like a darker shade of purple trim on the sweater, or if I want to use the same splotchy purple bark. But I'm trying to match textures more than I'm trying to match colors. And I'm having a hard time finding a purple in my stash that will match. Actually, I have a Malagra purple that would probably go with that. I'm going to have to grab that out of the stash. That might go really well. Oh, I hope so. Well, that gives me something to do. And I got my stove fixed yesterday. So today we are going to try to bake. I don't know if we are going to bake, but I haven't had a stove since I got home from the hospital because the interior igniter went bad. But we got that fixed yesterday, so I can bake today. So I think today, being fall, is pumpkin roll time. I think that's about it. I don't have a whole lot else to say this morning. I wanted to put up another video because I've been slacking. Because there's some days you just want to curl up under the covers and not move. But hey, I'm here, so you're stuck with me. You're welcome. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I am Dollhouse Kira on Twitter. I have a Patreon. I do believe it's Kira Crochet, but no one has signed up for it yet, so I don't know what I'm doing with that. If you like this, or if you want to see me do more stuff, or if you want to watch me mess up some more projects, feel free to subscribe. Hit that little bell thing, so then you'll be told when I put a new video up every 4 or 5 or 2 weeks. Whenever that happens, because I don't have a schedule. Please do. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Thank you for looking at my yarn stuffs. Come back next time. It wasn't really exciting today. Maybe next time will be more exciting. Although exciting isn't always fun. The hospital was exciting. It was not fun. So maybe I'll take that wish back. I did not say that. Be kind. Be kind to yourself. Take care of you so you can take care of others. Sprinkle kindness like seeds. It's free. Bye, lovelies.